Welcome to All the Photos Today, and today we are going to be editing this photo. I know I've been doing a lot of raw edits, but here's another one. Hopefully you guys are liking these videos, and if you do, make sure to subscribe. Okay, so now getting into this tutorial on how I edit this photo. The thing we're going to focus on today is how to make a boring photo look interesting with post-processing in just Lightroom. We're not going to take this into Photoshop. Of course you could, but we're not going to do that. Now you might be thinking, why is this photo boring? Well, first of all, it's boring. If you look at it, there's not much happening except for the clouds, but that isn't shown, and we're going to get that to be shown through post-processing in Lightroom. And quick tip, if you are shooting a photo like this, how to make this more interesting, we could do a long exposure with the water moving. It would get a nice silky smooth water, but I did not bring a tripod or an ND filter, so I was not able to accomplish that. So first thing we're going to do is straighten this horizon because it is not straight. I usually like to just try to go to auto, see what happens, and boom, there we go. It worked perfectly. If we needed to crop, I don't really see any need to crop. I guess we can go tighter in. But then we get more of that water, and the water is kind of boring. Now, I'm not liking any of those crops, so we're just going to go to the original photo, and I'm going to redo that auto straighten. Of course, if you wanted to crop your photo, you definitely should. So now I'm going to brighten up the exposure just a little bit because I think it is a little too bright. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put that back to double click on exposure, put it back to regular, and I'm going to grab a gradient filter. I'm just going to drag it off the top. And you might be thinking, wow, that looks terrible. Well, that's because default, it's going to add exposure, and we're going to actually want darken the exposure. You might be thinking, why are we doing that? Well, that is to get more of the clouds. And yes, this does... Oops, didn't want to do that. Okay, sorry about that. No, so you might be thinking, this looks way too dark. Well, that's fine. We are going to bring it back up. And there we go, bring back the exposure a little bit. But we still get all that cloud action, and it's pretty awesome. Now, if I think that the mountain looks fine. Of course, if you want to take more time, you could paint in some light in Photoshop or Lightroom. Might be a little tricky in Lightroom. I suggest doing it in Photoshop. Works a lot better. So now I'm going to add contrast, and I really want this photo to pop again because it is boring composition, which we kind of have to fix by making it look less fat. Not less fat, by making it look less flat in post-processing. Now we're going to play with the highlights. This is a little tricky to get good highlights because we want to bring them down to get out the clouds, but we don't want to bring them down too much because otherwise all the rocks and all that and all the trees are going to look boring. Shadows we're going to probably bring up a little bit so that we see the light, the plants and all that, or we can bring them down to silhouette. I don't like that at all. I like bringing them up just a smidge. Whites, hold down Alt, and make sure just a little bit peeks in so we have a balanced photo. Same thing with black, just a little bit. It's a little bit too much, and there we go. Awesome. Now we're going to put in some clarity. Not too much. We don't want to make it look bad. Vibrance, of course, because again, we want to make this look interesting. That's too much. It's almost borderline unrealistic when you put too much of that stuff in. And we're not going to play with tone curve. I don't think we need extra over-the-top contrast. But I am going to bring out the blues because not only in the water but also in the sky, I think the grays and the blues definitely need to be brought out, and that looks a lot better. We can maybe bring out some agua. Not really doing much, so I won't do that. Greens, guess we can try. I don't really want the greens brought in. I'm going to pull down the purples though. because if you look at the rocks, here I'll show you this. There's a little bit of chromatic aberration because I was using a pretty crappy lens. But now if we just pull down the purples, it's not affecting the sky too much, and it takes away that chromatic aberration. So that looks awesome. And sharpening, I like to add an extra sharpening to raw files because in my opinion, they are not sharp enough with the default 20 in Lightroom. We're shooting at ISO 1000, so we shouldn't need any noise reduction. Of course, if you're cropping in crazy tight, you might need some noise reduction. So now that, in my opinion, is a pretty solid photo, but I kind of I feel like there's too much dead space, so, especially with this water being so boring. Of course, that long exposure that I described before would make it look a lot better. So now we're gonna play around with the crop because this is just kind of boring in my opinion. And what can we do to make this? No, that's too tight. Of course, I was expecting that. So now we're gonna unstrain it, unlock it. There we go. And kind of go for a panoramic. And there you go. I think that looks a lot solider. Tell me what you think. We have this crop or the original one. Maybe something in the middle. Of course. So now this photo, in my opinion, looks way better than it did to begin. If we actually want to just check it. So here's the before and here's the after. Of course, both the photos aren't like crazy interesting, but the one on the right looks like a decent photo. Like that's something that you can share on social media. You can share it. It's not a portfolio builder, but you can use it in a photo story. It's a usable photo. Where the one on the left is boring, flat, useless. You don't want to show anyone that. But this, it captures how the clouds were dramatic, captures the movement of the water. We have the light. It's kind of like looking at a dead image compared to a live image. And this just shows the importance of post-processing and how even by doing just minor tweaks, you can make a boring photo look interesting. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know. Go smash that like button. That helps me a lot. And subscribe for more content from All the Photos Today. Thank you.